Hello and happy Friday, everyone. It is time once again for Sentinels Steam Workshop development. I'm John, aka Migrant P of Handelabra, and we missed last week due to I hurt my back and I couldn't sit in this chair, so that wouldn't really have worked. But we're going to continue working on Workshop. I did get some work done on other days and got an update out, which has automatic downloading in multiplayer as well as on the main menu downloading updates, so that is pretty cool. And we're going to carry on with various things. So one thing I wanted to do today was look at various bugs or requests from modders. I solicited some requests in the Discord channel yesterday. If you make a mod and you have some bug that you're trying to deal with or some questions, feel free to mention them in the Twitch and we'll see what we can do. What else? Yeah, there's some documentation stuff continuing to go on. The workshop screen is getting finalized, and yeah, things are moving along. So let's start off maybe with a couple of these bugs and see what we can do. So, I wanted to mention also there's a new document, the packaging guideline. So there's a few cards here that were about like the manifest and stuff like that. So there's a new doc that, assuming, it loads, we'll talk about how to do ad hoc loading, talks about the manifest, and how to upload to Steam Workshop, and then an example of manifest there. So a bit of stuff there to help you just collect all that information in one place. Cool. So there's that, and continuing to roll along on that stuff. Just trying to get comfortable here. I might need to shift around a bunch because still dealing with the back issue. So let's take a look at this bug's been here for a while. Actually, this one is probably going to be easier to look at. So there's a method that takes an optional parameter, but it's not used. So let's take a look at this one and see, because I took a quick look at it yesterday, and it seemed like it was probably not too terrible. So this has to do with select and moved card. So I'm just going to close everything. So when I want to fix or look at an issue like that, I want to sort of see what the scope of this is. So, I do also like to have line breaks in these long parameter lists so I can see what they are. Right, so the optional parameter is grayed out here, which says it's not being used. Okay, and let's see what this is. I want to see where this is used. So select and move card is called by another method in game controller. Select hero to move card. And so this chooses a hero turn taker and then calls that method select and move card, which is just down, well, wherever it went. And its optional parameter gets passed in as optional move card, which is sent here, defaults to true. So what uses this? Nothing uses this directly. What uses this? Extremist skyscraper tiny character, as well as another place in game controller. So extremist skyscraper tiny has a incapacitated ability that says one player moves a card from their trash into their hand. And the optional parameter there, I believe, is false. We have hero from location to location. Optional select hero, optional move card. So both are false. I mean, that's what it says. Optional is false. Okay. So there's that. And then this select hero to move card from trash. Also takes similar 2 parameters for optionals and passes them in to there. So what uses this? We have Dark Watch Harpy and Omnitron U. Both are incapabilities. And again, these are both. This is not optional. If you use the ability, you have to you have to move a card. And the same thing here. Optional is false. So I guess there's no case where optional is ever true, which is why we would have never run into this issue in Sentinels before. So if we want to have if we want to test this in a card, it needs to be something like you may move an equipment card or something like that, right? So select and move card. It's funny, this method is not used by anything but by these 3 cards, basically. So that's partly why it hasn't been looked at, because it's, very lightly used. Right. So I think the suggestion here was that the select card decision should be optional. Right. Okay. So we want to make sure that we don't break anything else. So let's go into unit test. And let's actually just add to our workshop a card that does that. Pay taxes, and you may move. Is this just like, it's generic, right? Select a card from any of these cards and choose the location. And the examples are, move a card from trash to deck, blah, blah, blah. So let's do like this one, right? Move a card from your trash to your hand. Select to move card. Owner. The location is going to be to my hand. And optional should be true. Card source. Get card source. Okay, and we want to go debug Mac. And let's just put this in the JSON so we don't confuse ourselves later, maybe. Do I have? Yeah, it's this. All right, so if we go to our test, builds the mods, so that should work. And let's add a test for pay taxes. Moving a card from trash to hand should be optional. So discard all your cards, play card. So if I run this test, we can at least see what it's doing and then add some asserts in. Yeah, so this is the moving card from the hand. So let's do a quick hand check. Angry, or quick hand storage, right? And decision. Yes, no. False. I don't know if there's a yes, no decision, right? It's a select card decision. Do not select card, right? And basically, we should be able to keep our hand at 3. We played the pay taxes from our hand. And yeah, so here you can see that there's no, this is not optional, right? I guess I forgot to call start game and it's angry at me. Oh, right. This is not correct. Oh, it's discarding all the cards from your hand to their trash, too. Okay. So actually, we should just continue to have 0 cards in hand. We played the card just directly from our trash. All right, so we played it basically from our trash. It went to the trash, and it made us move a card. And so we had 1 card in our hand, which we don't want. So let's go ahead and implement that fix. So the fix is that this select card decision should be optional. And it's not. I think it's just this, right? All right, so now we get a skip option, and that's what we wanted. Cool. And we can do a quick run of the tests of the decks where this would be affected, which would be Skyscraper and Harpy and Omnitron U, and just make sure those don't fail. I don't expect they would, but just to be careful. Omnitron and the Harpy. Cool. Looks like that will be fixed. So, yeah, we just added that to that, and we add the test. So, I'll just save. There we go. Bug number 1. Complete. Not well, fixed. All right. Let's take on this one that causes a crash from Tesla coil, and then we'll get to the next ones. And Tesla coil actually included a whole test for this, which has to do with elemental subwave inducer. So that seems handy. Thanks for that. Let's go into Tempest test code. I'm just going to close everything else. And we'll add, of course, Tempest's test code is the oldest. And yeah, this code is all in one line because of something that happened when I copied and pasted. No, can we fix the formatting? That would be nice. I might be able to get it from here without the formatting disappearing. We'll see. I guess if I... Oh, come on. All right. Gonna press enter a bunch. That's fine. So what are we doing? We're playing Treacherous Ape. We're moving the projections out of play. We're playing Cramped Quarters Combat. I don't know if this has to do with the Dreamer. Oh, because anything that destroys. Yeah, I think this is really like destroyed. All right. So this is supposed to cause a crash, so let's try it. Or an exception, I guess. Change type damage. Damage type status effect on a card that's been destroyed. Another effect changes the type of the same instance. Yeah, so I don't know if this is going to be a crash in the engine, but we'll see. This. Well, nullable object must have a value. All right. Interesting. In Tempest start phase. Oh, we're using Tempest. Oh, I see. Okay, so when we use the power, it destroys the Skunk Ape. Or the... Just to be clear about what's going on. We can just put a couple of asserts here. Asserts. Right, and this is actually happening on the next damage that's going to the Dreamer. Okay. And where is our exception coming from? Right, we shouldn't actually even be getting to select a damage type at all, right? Because the inducer's been destroyed. And this is... Well, the problem is that we're selecting a damage type that's illegal here, so that's not allowed. Well, I mean, it is allowed. We shouldn't be getting that decision, right? It should be only melee at this point. So that's interesting. I don't know how all this stuff works, so I'll maybe take a little bit of time to try to look into it, but it might be something I pass off to David or John Mark. Because I am not confident in, like, making changes in here. Like this stuff is... This is dealing with the presenting the decision, but I think what it should be not just presenting a decision here, because that card's been destroyed. And so the next time when we go to the next damage, that should be gone. So I wonder if it's not necessarily a bug in the trigger manager or anything. It's a bug in elemental subwave inducer. That this should not be I mean, generally things shouldn't be doing anything when they're destroyed, so I guess that's maybe a more generic issue. Well, I guess it isn't, right? It wouldn't. It's a status effect. It says because it says until the end of this turn. So it doesn't actually expire. Right. So actually, it shouldn't expire. So, but we shouldn't. So it should. It should work. So why are we getting an error then? I guess we're not select damage type. Here for the first one. Like we get this. Oh, and yeah, I guess it's that it can't do anything else. But it should be able to do, it should. Because this outlives the destruction of the card because it's a status effect. Cannot do anything else. Is yeah, preventing I guess we could like say that it's not inhibited. I don't know how to do that, but okay. Yeah, I'm not sure the right place to do this. So I'm going to put this test in and document it and send it over to David or Jean-Marc. We have there's a way to ignore a test. And we just usually put in the URL. Oh, I guess you need to put quote marks. And then it won't like fail everything every time we run it. It just is marked as ignored. So when you want to work on it, you just remove the ignore. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, so I'm going to send this over. To be happening here is okay, and okay, so I'm just going to add that test, and we're going to move this to the engine board, and I will let you know when it's fixed. Engine and sprint. So, not sure an ETA on that, but that will get onto the list since it is clearly a bug that can occur in the game right now. It's a higher priority. So, all right. We've got a potential bug with select targets and deal multiple instances of damage. So I have this open here, which is using defensive blast against some cauldron cards. And I don't know what those cauldron cards do. And we have a save file. I assume this is with cauldron content. So let's put that on the card and see if we can load it up. I think I've got the cauldron, on here. Let's just directly link the file. That is not on Omnitron's turn or power phase. Did I have the box checked to replay the game? I don't think so. Maybe I did. Yeah, so that's not very helpful. I guess I will wait for them to get back to me on that, because I want to have a reproduction of that, and that does not have that. So let's move on to another one. Okay, this one here is probably easier to look at, from Rujuin. Activatable effects can't be optional. So original code and a unit test. Right, so I think this is like, you may activate a thing, but that wasn't working, like Argent Edip's thing. Okay, so let's add an activatable ability to our little test mod here. guess we make another couple cards. I guess we can look at what select an activatable ability. Select an activate ability does first. This does take an optional parameter. And it passes through the optional and the decision. So this is used on instruments. Pretty reliably everywhere. Optional is not used because none of these are optional. You always must, I think. This passes optional. Allow less than 2 activations. If it's true. Default false. Argent Adept character says you may activate in a company text. Does that not work? Silver Shadow does activate in a company text. And so this is using optional. What uses this? Drake's Pipes. Activate up to 2 different melody cards. So optional is true for Drake's Pipes, right? Like, I assume this works. We can just make a quick game here and test it. We'll have the Argent Adept and what was the variant? Prime Warden's Argent Adept. Just modify Haka. Let's go to Argent Adept's turn. Let's put Drake's Pipes into play. And something that has a melody on it. Like... Scherzo of Frost and Flame. And melody cards. Why Rhapsody of Vigor? That's one. Cerebant Destruction's another one. And his power says you may do an accompany text. So let's go for Electrous Subdominant. And let's see. And file not found. Oh, because it's trying to load mods. Don't load mods. right. So, Drake's Pipes. Activate perform text of up to 2 different melody cards. Skip. That works. Nope. Play the bottom card of your deck. This is Silver Shadow is making us. Dang it. Let's get a new random seed. Hey, Tommy's cool. Yeah, the melodies, I don't use them as much as the other things, I guess. All right. So you may accompany any accompany text. Skip. So I don't understand the problem. So I'm just going to respond to Rujuin. This seems to be working fine. The problem was it can't be mandatory. I mean, most of Argent Adept stuff is mandatory Kid Flash Impulse, so that doesn't make sense. And the problem that Rujuin said is that they can't be optional. Prime, Wardens, Argent, Adept. Power says you may activate, and that works fine. Drake's Pipes says activate up to 2, and that also works fine. Both of them use the optional parameter. So, not a bug that I can see. Maybe we need more information, or maybe that has to do with something that you're doing with your cards specifically. All right, so take a turn now. It doesn't work with heroes. This one could potentially be super complicated. Playing the immediate jump card. Get the following visual oddity, but there's no reference to that. Yeah, this is something that there's no content in the game that does that besides villains. I believe La Capitan. I think I just changed some white space here. That's fine. The Capitan team has the environment takes a full turn now, and then Stitch in Time. And Throwback. Take a full turn now. Take a full turn now. So that's pretty straightforward. And Completionist Guise also gives heroes a full turn now. Which works with Guise. So I'm not sure what the issue is then. Yeah, I need more information than given here, but Stuntman does not have that ability. Stuntman can skip to his turn, but that's not take a turn now and then resume, right? That's different. Like take a full turn now, takes a turn, and then continues from where it is. That's not what Stuntman does. It could be because of like when this is happening, I guess. And this is an incapability. Oh, what did I do? Keyboard shortcuts are not always helpful, Trello. Should be easy enough to add a test though to our angry taxpayer. Let's add a new card because we're adding too much to this card already. Half its cards will pay taxes. Half its cards will be defer taxes. I don't know. And maybe, I mean, it could have to do with taking a full turn. I assume that's what this hero is doing. I can take a look at it, I guess. Let's go and see. What it's doing. I don't think I'm subscribed to it. We have to go and edit the manifest. Application support, Steam. Steam apps, workshop, content. What's the number? That's the number. Hello, Zero. Welcome. Recall is the character. Okay. Let's take a look at the card and see what it says. Immediate jump. Deal themselves psychic damage. Take a full turn now. I assume you play this on like another turn. But we can make a test for it, I guess. Okay, let's make a new card controller. Oh, getting some chugging for some reason. It's weird. Nothing is happening. I have to have the right namespace. Guess that's the right namespace. We have to make it a subclass. And include the right namespace. Have to make default constructor, which is annoying. If you can't hear me, then you might want to turn up your volume. And we have to have a play method. Take a full turn now. This dot turn taker controller. Basically, that's it. And let's go to our test. Test defer taxes. And we'll just see what happens. First of all. I guess you can't hear me talking about fixing your audio settings if you can't hear me, Ken. Right. Doesn't help. Let's see what's happening over in Slack. Things are happening. Anything major? No. All right. So I guess that's playing it on Baron Blade's turn. So go to play card phase, angry, and it like seems to do a thing. We should be in the start phase. That seems fine. Yeah, I mean, the volume level of my speech is at the normal level, so maybe turn up your volume, I guess. Oh, and it is ephemeral. Yeah. That's weird. That assertion is a lie, but basically like this. And this. That. Then that should actually make sense when you do it wrong. So if we assert that, where's our test gone? This. We say it should not be ephemeral. I guess we can put it. We can do this here. We should be in the play card phase. And it should not be ephemeral. Good. Great. If we say it should be ephemeral and it isn't, then the message should say that. Yeah. Then we should. Now we are in the ephemeral turn. This word. Spelling. Turn. Go to next turn, or enter next phase. We should be in ephemeral play. I hate how it does that. Okay, and then we should be in power, draw, end, and then we should be back to the real turn. So power, draw, end, and we're back to play with a non-ephemeral turn. Okay, so that all seems fine in the engine. There's supposed to be a visual oddity, but that was not attached. So maybe we'll see if we can build this. Let's make sure we have everything up to date. Build error. XML comment has syntactically incorrect cref attribute. That is something for Jean-Marc to fix, but I need it to work now. I'm going to message him about that right now, though. Okay, I don't think I need to rebuild that anyways. I just basically need the DLL update for the workshop test A. And then we go to UI and update this DLL here. Okay, so let's go into the game. Just go in here and make sure that we have that card. Yeah. Pay taxes. Defer taxes. Okay. Let's go and see. Assuming we draw the card, we can just restart the game if we don't. Angry taxpayer. And then, sure, we'll bring recall as well. And a hero to help them draw cards. They even look the same. Oh no, damage. All right, so here we are on our play phase. Let's play Defer Taxes. Okay, we're in the ephemeral mode. So we have ephemeral turn indicators up here. It didn't give us another card play, so I think that might be the issue. And to start, play card. Yes, there's an issue there of having it go immediately in your... Oh, interesting. We've got select a card and use a power happening at the same time. That's problematic. I think what's happened is it didn't finish. It didn't finish the card play properly because we went to skip to the next turn action and we started doing the start phase and everything even before that card left play. Yeah, we get the move card action. We play area to the trash. That seems late. I guess the problem is, like, how does that even work? When Le Capitan does it, so Guys is not a one-shot doing it. Throwback is a one-shot doing it. We can see what happens in the sequence with Le Capitan. Yeah, you can see here that defer taxes move to the trash. I mean, the sequence of things in the engine is not always exactly the same as well. Le Capitan team, test throwback. So when does throwback leave play? After the end of the turn. So why isn't that happening with our card? Is it because it's the same type of turn? Like if this throwback played a villain turn. Oh, there's this do not move card to trash. Do not move one card to trash. Okay, let's put that in and see if that. Then is there a... I guess we'll see how that changes it. And we can run our other test here. Yeah, so here at the end, defer taxes is moved afterward. Okay, so that is what we want to happen. And so let's grab that DLL and update it here. And continue the game, I guess, and hopefully we're in a good place. Maybe not. Yeah, so let's go defer taxes. All right, then we get to play a card. Oh, but we also get, yeah, it goes straight into use a power as well. I'm curious if this is also a bug with guys, or if it's only because it's the same turn. Maybe change it to choose a hero to take a turn. So, I mean, that's literally what guys does, right? Sort of. Not exactly. Yeah. It's basically this. Optional false, don't decide, start turn taker. I don't really care about that. make sure our test works, I guess we can just say to decision select turn taker or hero turn taker. Yeah, we gives us a choice of legacy. Okay. Let's see what happens here then. If we choose a different hero. Got the guy's message here. Tachyon. Does not. Oh, I see. Our code didn't actually choose that turn taker. Maybe we should do that. That seems important to actually use the decision output. Did I not? Maybe I didn't build. Oh. Yeah, I definitely didn't build because there was an error. That is why that happened. Okay. Build successful, and we can check the timestamp 313. Yeah, okay. Obviously, there's a bug here. I just want to see if it happens with another hero too. Okay, so Tachyon plays a card normally. And uses a power normally. And we go back here and we get to use a power. Right, so the bug is in the UI for and I don't know if it's just from the play card phase or from something else, but getting an ephemeral turn during your turn is leading to this issue for heroes. All right. Tested this out more, and it looks like the issue specifically is taking an ephemeral turn on your own turn. Use power phases to happen at the same time. Another hero and ephemeral. All right, so what is going on? This is where we get into some of the nitty-gritty of how does the turn work. All right. So I hit Angry Taxpayer. Let's see what we got logging out so far. So we got skip to turn phase action. And then did perform of the DUI phase change action. We get a did perform and skip. Maybe that's inside. Maybe I don't know exactly where that's going. We run the start phase. We call enter next turn phase. We run the play card phase and get our decision. And then incorrectly, we're calling enter next turn phase. And going, and then that finishes the play card phase, and we get to the use power phase, and then we actually wait. And so why are we skipping ahead? I'm guessing it's because there's a card that's been played, and it's like, well, I guess we don't need to do anything. So this is the run turn phase, which cranks the game along. So, and we can like turn on some of these logs too. To get a more clear picture of what's going on. Maybe we'll throw something in here. This is just saving. Okay, yeah, it should be, this should not be coming back until we play the card. So the game controller is coming back. I think that might be what's going on here. All right, got our extra logging in here. You can see here in the regular play phase, calling select and play card from hand is waiting. It hasn't returned. When we play a card, it still hasn't even returned yet because... Oh, I wonder what's happening is the original one is returning. That might be what's happening. So yeah, I don't know if this is the same. It's probably the same because it like happened right here, but it might be a different context that it's returning, and then it's like it's getting it to sync that way. Let's just add this and we'll know if we're in the ephemeral one. Down here we do a check, yeah. I'm just curious if we're like getting ourselves mixed up this way. In which case we need to figure that out. All right, to self. Yeah, that is what's happening. So the ephemeral true is waiting for that, but the ephemeral false comes through and it's like, do. We're going to carry on. And that is, it should just be like, I'm going to wait until it's the right time, I think. We can't, yeah, we don't want to save. We basically want to interrupt here if there's an ephemeral. Don't let the non-ephemeral turn. Really, it's like if this is not this might be a little dangerous, but it's kind of the idea. And that could even go in here, because maybe you could play 2 cards, right? And you need to return in the middle of that. But it should work for our case here if that's the solution. Hey, all right. Play a card. Use a power. Draw a card. Back to our play phase. And we actually, it skipped our power phase on us because I think the engine automatically dropped us out, maybe. something happened. Yeah, I think this needs to be in here first off. Timing's cool. It's supposed to allow you to use your power again. I guess that might be what was happening, but it should because it was a new turn, right? You should be able to use a power because you go back to your actual previous turn, right? The ephemeral turn power doesn't count for your current turn power. It's a new turn. And I'm just going to do this and put a log. I don't know. Tommy's cool. I just saw this happen, so. And why am I getting... Oh, right. This. Just want to get an idea of what's happening there. All right, we need to go. We can't go back because we just have to start over. We can click restart game, I guess. Unless Recall started with that card in their hand. No. Assume we have a copy of our card. Can't assume, but it's likely that we have a copy of it. We do. Okay. So I play this. We are... So I already cleared the log, so we'll do this. We went. Run the turn phase. And this is the new play phase. This is the old play phase, and it notes, hey, it's not the active turn phase. We're waiting for that. So, sure, play a card. Then we go to use a power. Can perform phase action, says yes. We can use the power. We draw a card. So I'm just going to pause here and look at the log. So calling enter next turn phase. We go from use power. We go to draw card. It lets us draw a card. Okay. And yeah, this is, where do we end up? So we enter next turn phase. We get to the end. Phase we're running is once again the active turn phase. We carry on, which if we had more cards to play, it would come back. And maybe we'll add a log into here as well. And then we go down to enter next turn phase. We go we finish play card. We enter the use power. No. Starting a new play card. But then we go past it anyway. But the game says we can't use a power. So that's probably a separate bug. So if we try that again and don't use a power the first time, we'll see if we can, because it let us play another card. But card plays don't have the same restriction as powers, right? Of the once a turn thing. That could likely be a bug because this can't happen normally in official content. But it's, you know, part of how the game should work. So that's high priority, but it is behavior that's incorrect. So let's go to do this and choose Angry Taxpayer. And we don't need to play a card. We don't need to use a power. We don't want to use a power. Should draw 2 cards. We don't draw 2 cards. Interesting. And then we get to use a power. So I think these are... And these are things we should be able to test. So I think we've sorted out the first issue. But there's more issues. So if we... Let's go back to our unit test. Sentinels engine. And in our test, we should be able to confirm things. So insert phase action count 1. You can play 1 card. In this, we should play 1 card. We should be able to use 1 power. And we should be able to draw 2 cards, right? Well, let's do the power one first. I think that's more important. Use power. Angry. We shouldn't have any card plays left. Throw these asserts in here. An error says phase action count is incorrect. Expected 0, but was null. Oh. Sure, that's like fine. Oh, interesting. And then this is null. What if I take that out? I'm curious about the usable power. Yeah. So let's put that. I think that's I mean, they're both important, but so it's interesting. I'm going to add another test for the extra draw. Don't use the power. Draw an additional card because we didn't play or use a power. All right, and these bugs I am not going to try to fix. These are deep in the weeds, I think, of guys and Capitan stuff. But I'm going to set it up so it's easier for someone else to take a look. Yeah, and here, action count expected 2, but was 1. Okay, so we're going to add... All right, so one thing I'm not totally sure about is my UI change. So I want to check it out with other stuff before committing that. So let's add ignores to these. Improved what I could in the UI, but the engine so that play and power don't happen together. However, there are engine bugs remaining. You can't use a power in the ephemeral, or sorry, it's probably both ways actually. If you use a power in ephemeral turn, won't let you use it in the real turn. Basic test dot. If you neither play a card or use a power in the ephemeral turn, it does not give you an extra card draw. Okay. And All right, I'm going to move this out to the engine board. As it's more of a bug in the engine than specifically mod related. And then these tests are ignored so they won't cause failures in continuous integration. Okay, so we added that new card. This is just, yeah, basically we just added tests and stuff. Okay, so add new card and tests for taking an extra turn on your own turn. And jump mark fixed that error. So we should be able to properly update the DLL now. Yep. Good, good. All right. So then in the UI, just going to mark the DLLs updated. And this is the weird thing we did, which was, I mean, we added some logs, but we're added this chunk. So I want to test this a little more thoroughly. So I'll be right back. I'm going to get a bit more water. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Oh, let's just make a BRB file. Be right back. Alright, so I just wanted to make sure this stuff still works, like, with the game in general. It's a pretty localized change, I suppose, but... so let's, like, make a new game and try to... I could, like, set up exactly what I want, but let's give the villains the best chance to do their things. That, and Tachyon could experiment on the villains. I think Knife can play the bottom card of villain decks. Yep. Omnitron can play the top card of decks, and I want Completionist Guys to get incapped and use his ability. And the environment doesn't really matter. So let's see. Just make sure everything seems to happen. This is something we can't deal with in the unit test because the UI runs the game differently than the unit test does a little bit. Basically trying to get La Capitane to do the things that she does. So, doesn't really matter if I play cards here. Hey, look. All right, let's see what Throwback does. Plays its special effect. And we come back into play a card, or draw a card, that is, so that seems good. I should probably get rid of that. I guess we want to be beating up guys, don't we? We should be beating up guys. I took Friction because she can play the top card of all the decks. Let's look at La Capitane. Don't need that. Guess we'll keep that around. Well, that's annoying Baron Blade. Impulsion Beam is going to stop Completionist Guys from doing the things he needs to do. Sure. All right, Omnitron. And I can't use the power, so I have to deal damage. Let's get rid of that Impulsion Beam. Come on, La Capitane, play Stitch in Time. You got two of them, don't you? All right. We want to punch the impulsion beam. Give cards to Chiquito. Annoying. So many discards. Alright, guys can beat up the thing. We're just gonna let him do that. Use the power. La Capitan. Nope. So now I think we want, well, if we get guys in-capped, he can use his thing, which is give someone a full turn. So he's got to beat up guys for that. We don't have our powers now, though. So we have to replace one again. Throw back again. And Raptors. Can't hurt Chiquito. That worked. All right, Highbrow is getting a bit annoying. She couldn't deal damage anyway. Yeah, Guys has a variant of each of them in his collection right now. So, except we all might get in-capped here. We can test that in another game if we all die here. Yeah, I think we just lose here. Oh no, we lost. It's like we weren't trying. I still want to get Stitch in time. And Guys' ability tested. Do do do. the one I want. Anything I care to retcon? Nothing really. Guess it lets us draw a different card. Infiltrate. She doesn't have an ongoing, so that doesn't work. These are all the Capitan's cards. Knife, play a card. Sure. Hit guys. He's got a card under him now. Come on, the Capitan. I want stitching time. Hey, free cards. That's why I picked Baron Blade. All right, you guys is almost gone. So we can actually get the knife to go back to her normal self. Hit guys, so he'll go down. Stitching time. There we go. We can probably actually destroy it if we want. It's just when it's destroyed. If we hit this, we can hit it with the servo gauntlet. We can also hit guys, get him out of the way. And don't care about anything else. I guess we'll do this. Why not? We have to survive. Until guys' turn. Can we do that? We'll see. Destroy an ongoing card. Stitch in time. She takes a full turn. Woo 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 woo. She plays a card. End of turn. That all seems good. Back to where we were. Yeah, so I guess if in theory we were able to use a power on La Capitan's turn, we should have been able to use Servo Gauntlet then. That would be something to potentially, you know, look into. Like with Dynamic Siphon or something, right? Like you could set up a test for that. Highbrow again. Rude. Alright, don't kill us, Baron Blade. We just want to get to Guy's turn and then he can kill us. Everything else, like all the rest of the things seem to be working normally, so it's... I feel okay about the change. Oh, knife getting capped. That ruins our plan. Wait, can we still do this? It's still a full turn, right? Hey, what? Knife should have been able to use her turn there. Unless that's something that was in the clarifications. Is this not... This is where it should be. Oh, weird. It's like not pinned anymore. Complete. Completion. Ist. Oh, I can't search when I haven't scrolled through everything, I guess. Yeah, I think that's an error. So that is a separate bug, which I can at least have a save file. Sentinels engine. Completionist. Guys, in-cap ability. Come on. To allow full turn does not work with an in-capped hero. In-capped. It should let them take a turn, but it does nothing. Alright. Well, otherwise I'm generally satisfied with this, so let's just grab the save file from here. Oh, they're not there. Where are my files at? They're in a different place for... That's easy enough to test, though. Book. I'm gonna... On their own turn. That's the limitation here. Maybe I'll note here. Could also test whether power uses work properly during villain/environment Ephemeral turns. E.g. use Omnitron X power to play Stitch or to play Throwback, which causes something to hit a dynamic siphon next to Omnitron. He should get to use his power again. Oh, does it say active on that power? I didn't read. I guess I didn't read it. Select an active hero. Guess I better read. Of an active hero in the game. Okay, then not a bug. Yeah, so Rujuin, the take a turn now thing, I fixed up the issue where it like lets you play a card and use a power at the same time, which is basically it was letting you use a power from your normal turn and play a card in the temporary turn at the same time, which is wrong. So that is fixed, but there are other issues that I've noted, and this is moved over to our engine board to look at that have to do with just the general checks for like, can you use a power again and stuff are not working right in this case. So that is something that is fixed up. And then there was also the item about activatable effects. And as far as I can tell, this works fine because Argent Adept already has optional activatable effects and they work. So take a look at what those cards do if you're not sure how to use them, I guess. Okay. Or if the bug you're finding is different than that, then I need more information, I guess. But it looks like that functionality is already there. Okay, so that completions guys thing was not a bug after all. And I think I'm happy with this change. So I'm just going to calm down those logs that I added because they're pretty noisy. Okay. Yeah, I think these were there already. That and that. This and this. This is the fix here. Basically, like, it was carrying on to go to the next turn phase even when it should not have. And yeah, basically just a log on the start and the end of this method and the run turn phase. Those are the important things for most debugging. So this is fixed, that part. The rest of it will be for David or Jean-Marc to look at. And this one here did not have the data file that I needed to look at. So I'm going to wait for that and we'll look at that another time. Cool. So what else? Jennifer's working on some visual polish of the screens and stuff. I was going to look at generating the code documentation and maybe doing some improvements to the sample project. Let's take a few minutes and look at the documentation generation because it's kind of interesting. So I've done a little bit on this already. Let's grab a terminal. Engine, Sentinels, and no dash in this one. Tools, Doxygen has our, come on, Doxy file, which it just automatically picks up. And I have it set up to generate in here. And it makes this. And we have our classes or whatever. You can see what's documented. Some things are documented, some things aren't. I think the main thing Jean-Marc's been working on is game controller documentation. And so you see a lot of these have documentation on them. For what the parameters do, what it returns, and you can link through and stuff. Some of them are documented or not. There's a lot. So, but we're chugging through it. But I think it's getting to the point where we can actually potentially publish this and keep it updated as we continue to add to it. I don't know. I'll talk to Jean-Marc about whether or not it's close enough for that. So let's update the configuration. Oh. And I just want to open this in like maybe Xcode editor. So let's go through the configuration and see. One line description for project that appears at the top of each page. Okay. Why can't this go higher than that? I guess it can. This is the brief. I'm just curious where this goes. Also, don't generate LaTeX. That's not going to be needed. At least right now. So you can see all the warnings popping out of here saying what's not documented. Okay, so this is just going to be like class documentation for the Sentinels engine library or API. Okay. Project logo. 55 pixels by 200 pixels. I'm sure we have a version of the logo that is similar. I could use the Handelabra Games logo. Maybe the Handelabra Games logo is good. wants it to be maximum of 55, I think it said. Where did it go? I guess we could do the one that has an across. These are the old logos. Official. Yeah, maybe the side by side. Where'd that go? Let's try. Using this one. $19.20 is a little too big. Logo. Let's try that. Doesn't look great. I would like to have a little bit of padding, but we can probably adjust that. Let's just call this Sentinels Engine API, or SOTM. We could probably adjust the formatting somewhere else or provide a CSS file or something. Various included things. We don't need file. I don't think we have. I don't think we do show file lists because that's not anything that anyone's really interested in. I don't think we show the path names anyways. Yeah, this is about like things we don't care about. Banners. Aliases. Okay. Optimize output for C. No, not Fortran. Extension mapping, I think, is fine. You can support Markdown. That's cool. Autolink seems to be working. So this is whether we're not extracting everything in the DLL, because there's stuff that like we don't need to document, like all of the classes of all the implemented cards, for example, because we're not going to document them and they don't serve any purpose. This is just going to be for what you would use when you're creating cards. Okay. I think most of these settings are fine. Guess we could hide undocumented classes, but we don't think I want to do that. Scopes are good. What does this do? Compound reference. I'm curious if that, like, because maybe we don't need the title to be all of that. If we say yes, what does it do? Oh, I see. It just like adds the word class reference. That's fine. I'm not doing definition of files, only of classes. Yeah, I kind of want... Let's go to one that's bigger. Back to game controller or something. Like, I want these to be in alphabetical order. So if I do this, will it sort these alphabetically? Yes, that is much more useful. It does end up sorting these alphabetically, which we might not. I don't know if we want both, but it's probably better. It's easier to find stuff when it's alphabetical like that. So. Don't know what group names are. Do you want constructors first? Maybe. Moves the constructor up to the very top. I don't know if that's super... I think that's pretty standard, right? Yeah, now these are sorted alphabetically. to-do list, or a test list, or a bug list. Deprecated, sure. Enabled sections. Yeah, this is, I turn this off. So you don't care about the file names that we have to build our stuff. Layout file. What does that do? -L. Okay, so then we can like fully customize the menus and stuff if we want. So if we do like that, for example, and rerun, yeah, we can title that interesting. Okay, I don't know that, well, we can just like still keep that, and then we have it to modify it. Warnings and progress. Yes, warn. All right, and yeah, our input files. Ooh. Yeah, and this is where we exclude out like the implementations of specific decks. Don't need to show up in here. Example code fragments, interesting. Images. And something for the main page. Yeah, is that... So if I like make a... It's not showing anything there. Anyone saying that's not working? Oh, I see. I have to include it in this input. Hey, there we go. Cool. All right, and we skipped over a little bit here. Source browsing. You don't want source files. Strip comments. Yeah, these are all disabled from that first one. And alphabetical index. Sure. Okay. I mean, everything does start with Handelabra, but we do have stuff in that namespace, so. Okay. HTML files. Start with the default header, then modify the files. Right. This is how we style everything up. Well, we can change the color to be more Handelabra-y. So 0 for red. It's going to probably be pink. I do want that it shows when we generated it last. Let's try this. See how it looks in red. Kind of, it didn't turn this part red. Give it a little more saturation, maybe. Kind of just looks brown. Not sure I like it. Let's just go back to the default for now. Dynamic menus. That's these. Dynamic sections. Yeah. Let's try that. So if I go like back to game controller. How do I get that dynamic sections? I don't see that happening, but in theory it would happen. I don't know. Number of entries, sure. Generate a doc set for Xcode. No, that's fine. HTML help. No, that's fine. Skip all those. QHP. Nope. Eclipse help. Nope. What else do we got? Tree view. We could try that and see what it looks like. Ooh, that's kind of nice. That seems nice to me for navigation. Just being able to have a thing along the side. And then we also got this down here. And just jump around. I like that. I like it. Enum values per line. What enums do we have? Like phase, turn phase. That's an enum, but it's not finding that. What's another enum? Like a turn taker kind. Location has a kind. Not seeing those. Damage type. Yeah, where's our damage type enum? It's not linking. I thought that was enumerations. Literally just the one that I added here. So we're not, that's not showing up for some reason. Let's take a look at that because that's something that we would want to have. Like damage type. Enumeration. They're literally just enums.cs. Public enum. I feel like there's other things like deck kind. Maybe it's because they're not, like if I pull up deck definition. Yeah. But are we not, it's not like linking to it. That's interesting. So the enum values per line, like this kind of a style thing, that's not a big deal. I wonder if that's something that we need to adjust, or like if we add documentation, do they show up then? Tree view stuff. Formulas we don't really use. Math jacks. The search, yeah, We have that search is nice. And we're not generating latex. Skip over this whole section. Man page, no. XML, no. DocBook, no. Pre-processing is for C. External references, not really. Class diagrams, I think, are fine. Dia is like a more complicated version. If we look at like turn taker, isn't hero turn taker a subclass? Yeah. Oh, I see. It's hidden, the inheritance diagram. So you can like navigate the inheritance diagram that way if you want. And you can have it generate it as images, but I don't think that's super useful. I tried it and it just makes it take a lot longer. Call graphs, that seems like a lot. Cool. So what about those enums? Why does it not? It's literally all we have for enums. So what if I like document one of these? The valid damage types. Sentinels of the multiverse. All damage is of one of these types. Sure. And run oxygen. Hey, now it shows up. So it's only because it wasn't documented. That's funny. It links to that. And that's just, yeah, the root. Okay, so the enums do show up, but they don't get linked. So like if we have a deal damage action, damage type. So they have to be documented before they get linked, I guess. Which isn't the case for classes, but it is the case for enums, I guess. I'll just do this. All damage in the game. So yeah, I don't know. There was that thing about type def hide struct, but I don't think that's... Yeah, that's not it, unless it's counting that as like a struct for other things. I wonder if they're counting as static. What if I say yes? Yeah, they still don't. They have to have some summary on them, so I don't know what else that changed, so I'm just going to change that back. All right, so that's some things there. We'll need to document the rest of the enums, I suppose. So let's commit those changes. Yeah, actually, we could play with this XML file, right? A little bit. Oh, this is just the layout, not the. If the other thing was the HTML. I'm curious about that. That like. HTML header. So like run this. And then we get some files. Man, it's tables. Awesome. So if we like increase this to like a little higher, I don't think it's going to pull up these files automatically. I think we need to specify. Let's just call this header.html. And footer.html and style sheet. And that pull it up. I guess we can make a more concrete change. Okay. LOL. Why didn't it let our height go higher? Go 100 pixels. Okay. So it's just adding height to the top. Man. Put that back. 56 pixels. The whole thing's in a table, of course. I guess it's just the heading, right? Just put a space in here. That make it look better. Not really. What's the CSS look like? The standard CSS. Yeah. All right. Well, these things could all be tweaked to make it look a little nicer. But yeah, I think we definitely improved this a little bit. And we could update the footer, just update the general colors and stuff like that potentially if we want. Whew. So yeah, stretch a little bit here. Let's commit these changes. And we'll say adjust oxygen settings. Look at some style changes. Cool. So I think that is looking better, and I'll talk to Jean-Marc about whether, where we are in terms of being able to publish this. There's still lots to do in terms of implementing stuff, documenting stuff. But hopefully maybe we can, on the main page, link to like these things are fully documented right now and everything else is in progress and stuff like that. But yeah, so that is that. And I think we can move on to something else for a little bit. I'm going to take a quick break though, because my back is bothering me, so I'm going to be back shortly. Yeah. Let's do a BRB once again. But I'll come back and I think we'll do some improvements to the sample project I want to look at potentially. So, be right back. Okay. So, yeah, for the last bit today, as you can see, we're getting a lot closer to having things finished. So that's pretty exciting. I'll probably get an update with these fixes available and some more improvements soon. But yeah, I wanted to look at improving the assemble project and maybe including some of these other kinds of variants to make sure they work and have some better examples for people. Because Because right now the samples are not great. I will say they're not great. So let's go to the classic My Mod. And it's kind of a mess. Let's see. I think I have it in here, right? Yeah. What did I even do in here? Right, we have Nemesis icons. And icons in here. Cool. So I'll commit that. But basically I want to make these at least like something that you might want to try or at least look at for like how do I start making a hero and stuff like that versus just like sort of nonsense functional stuff. They can still be nonsense, but you know, I think they still can be reasonable, like dealing 30 damage, probably not, things like that. So, and maybe having a few cards that do things similar to real cards. So let's go ahead and make this hero. Well, actually, I also want to make like variants and test the Sentinels. Let's just make this Migrant Coder be a reasonable hero to begin with. I'm not going to play test or anything like that. It's just going to be whatever it is. We'll say 30 hit points is reasonable. Maybe this power should be draw a card. Or draw one card. Deals one target 2 psychic damage. How about that? These things are fine. Right, and the icons should make sense. Draw a card. And deal damage psychic. Got his own Nemesis icon. And then we could just make the incaps be the defaults, right? May use a power. Let's just borrow this from one of the real heroes. Let's make a new instance so we're gonna do some judicious copying and pasting for this. And let's go to this. And I believe the Sentinels actually have a classic in-cap list. Actually not. Okay. Is it Legacy? Use a power, draw a card, play a card. Well, we can just copy these and without the prevented ones. Benchmark. Benchmark is the classic. The new standard. Look at that. And the flipped icons. And this needs to be draw card now, as opposed to the icon that's increase your number of card draws. Opening lines. You cannot defeat the power of the workshop. Most heroes do not have setup, including this one. But it's an example. just say this one does, only as an example. All right. I think we can still have worst card ever because that's fun. But maybe there's only, you know, table will have 5 copies of each card, and we'll see, and we can adjust that. And maybe instead of this, maybe it does something. He may play. How do we write cards like that? Like lifeline? Yeah. Play 2 cards. And we want deal damage, icons, melee, play card now. All right, so those are 2 cards. Let's fix the variant as well. Can have the same Nemesis identifier. Migrant Coder Lockdown. And this icon is actually reduced damage. And the Wraith has such an effect. Reduce damage taken. And let's just use the same in caps. Those look good. All right, so then we'll add some more cards. But let's make these cards actually be correct. So the character card, we want those things to actually work. Benchmark character card controller. And also on the other one, which I didn't even implement. I'm gonna put the power first. I like to have the power first. Draw 1 card. Deal 1 target 2 psychic damage, not 30. And these actually should be using get power numeral to be correct. Right? Power. Isn't that there's a thing, right, for power numerals? Numeral. How do I do it? I'll look at benchmark. Get power numeral. Okay, you just put like an index. Okay. Number of cards. And I guess I'll just borrow this from benchmark. damage amount. Okay. Yeah, that's similar to benchmark there. And then worst card ever should still do nothing. Yep. That message is fine. That's an example of doing a message. Punching bag has changed. So, right, we're using custom decision text. This is a custom decision text example. It doesn't even have the damage thing. I just totally changed it. Oh no, I did. Right, the first one is the card decision. May think happy thoughts and deal himself 1 melee damage. How about that? Then if it was yes, if it was no, I guess the happy thoughts are play 2 cards. Select and play cards from hand. Just make sure that's how Lifeline works. Calculated action. Yeah. I guess I can say if damage is dealt this way. We can also do a check here for like damage results, right? Okay. If did deal damage. If he did not think happy thoughts. Something else. This is more for the example, right? He may have cake. can just send a message because I don't want to do anything else. Let's just do like this. Always send a message. Sounds good. This is our cake-based hero. No, I want cake. Okay. So we've got, and then I think we also need to make sure, I think this is all, the variant is fine, right? That was already using get power numeral, making a status effect, and stuff. So, cool. So what else do we want to show on here? I think we want to show like an ongoing card and an equipment card. Maybe a target. Cake. What do you think? What should we do for an example? Maybe copy one of Legacy's cards. You can copy the Legacy ring. It's a classic one. It's limited. We can call it something else. Making up stuff is hard. Let's call it Coder's Keyboard. Sure. And it's just a legacy ring. So let's make a class for it. We'll call it Coder's Keyboard Card Controller. And put the stuff in that we need to put in. Is that the right namespace? Yep. We need these. We need it to be a card controller. We need it to have the thing. And we'll just grab the code from Legacy. I guess its constructor does do a thing. It has all these extra bits and bobs. don't even know what this does. But I'm going to copy it. Changing number of phase actions is complicated. Turns out. Okay. And my unit test is probably broken too, right? I should probably fix that. Let's run our tests. Yeah, that's wrong. Test mod works has the wrong hit points because it's 30, not 39. This actually draws one card. Let's make sure all our tests work too. Does it not do the right amount of damage? Oh, I think I copied benchmarks and then I put in the wrong number. This should be 2. That's why we have these amazing unit tests. All right, and test punching bag. I guess I have to say yes. And I end up playing more. Decision. Skip. Do not select card. I don't want to play a card. Yeah, now let's have this go to the play card phase because that seems better. We didn't get cake though. Shouldn't we have gotten cake? Oh no, it's if we didn't think happy thoughts, we get cake. Yeah. And no gameplay effect. Just some example code. All right, so our unit tests are fine. I guess the lockdown test is inconclusive because of save and load, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. All right, so I'm going to commit this foolishness. And we'll say update migrant coder cards to be a bit more sensible. Add a new card. What else do we want to add? I don't like have a deck idea in mind or something. I just want to grab some like basically cards that already exist and do things that are typical. So maybe let's grab like a card with a power on it, like Razor Ordnance. And let's get a copy of that. and we'll call it bug fix. And we can say it deals lightning damage. I don't know if you need to have a namespace in this or not. This was working fine yesterday. Dev stream number 5. Migrant coder. Does that need to have a namespace? I don't think so. Deals 1 target, 4 lightning damage. How about that? Just amp it up a little bit. And yeah, let's make a new class for that. Bug fix card controller. Do the thing. Maybe I'll just copy Wraith's card directly. Razor Ordnance. Release some of it. I guess Wraith doesn't need to use those. For lightning damage. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So there's another card. We got an ongoing, an equipment. Actually, we don't have an ongoing, do we? This can be an ongoing. Maybe it doesn't even have to be limited. Maybe you can have 5 of them. We're not up to a hero amount of cards yet, but that seems good. So let's add another, let's add this. Let's maybe make the villain and so on be more reasonable too. So we've got the baddies are a villain. They're the nemesis of Migrant Coder. We want them to do anything. Something with a card property, example like combat stance or backlash field. Sure, maybe we give that to the villain here. We can give the villain a backlash field. Yeah, they do a lot of damage. All right, so the icons, let's have it do something at the end of turn. We can give it advance, and we can do stuff like that. At the end of the villain turn, destroy one hero ongoing card. How about that? Advanced. Destroy one equipment card. Challenge. And actually then we can have destroy ongoing. There's no start of turn action, there's end of turn action. And advanced is destroy equipment. Yeah, let's just do non-advanced and challenge stuff first. Get the regular stuff. Okay, so we're doing at the end of the villain turn, destroy an ongoing card. So let's open up the character card controller. The turn taker controller won't have anything. We could do something that has an example of that though, right? Because there are villains. We should have something. Have it like find something and put it into play. Like Baron Blade is pretty straightforward. So yeah, let's get Baron Blade and just put like a card into play in the same way. So we need to override this. And what does Baron Blade say on his deck list? Enters play, side up. And we'll add this. What's the card we're going to put into play? We'll call it Smash Back Field. How about that? It's definitely not a backlash field. I don't know what you're talking about. So in here, we want to... We do that? No, we put this in the wrong place. Turn taker controller. Go. Smash back field. All right. Play this. Okay. And we probably want to have that card exist, right? It's definitely not this card with a different name. He might have 5 of them at once. That would be bad. And it's melee damage instead. Maybe since there could be more of them, it's just 2. We'll make our own little comic book. Comic book universe of the dev stream. That's the Smashback field. So let's make a class for it too. And we need to grab these things. We need to do these other things. Hey look, this is just as easy as add counter damage. Add a trigger. Wow, that is a lie in this comment. That's not what I think Backlash Field used to probably have more logic, and this was just copied from Luminary's deck. That is an incorrect comment. So I'm going to do that. And we are going to do 2 melee damage. And yes, damage type, damage type. I definitely always want to do that. All right, so that seems good. We need to have our end of turn trigger for our villain. So let's go to Baron Blade character card controller. Could have special strings. We could add that, I suppose. I guess we could add the whole if would be destroyed is flipped instead. Yeah, we can add that. Oh, that's not set up, that's gameplay. What's the other side called? How did you get here? I don't know. It's our foolish world that we're inventing here. And so Baron Blade, we need to include this in the character card. We want to have our side triggers and our destroy attempted and our flip over. But let's just do these first things. So we don't have a start of turn or end of turn. We just have a regular end of turn. So let's call this and I don't know what we're doing on the flip side. Okay. Need a flip card response, I think. guess we don't need this yet. We haven't implemented any of that yet. We need the end. We need a response for the thing. This one's littler. So what's something that does something like that? Just straight up destroy. A card. We have like. I'm sure there's lots of villains that do that. Or I'm looking for villain cards that do that sort of thing. La Capitane team has a card that says destroy a hero ongoing card, right? Yeah. Cuando ahora. This. And we don't actually care about the results. Select and destroy card. Oh, I grabbed the villain one. That's okay. We don't care about the results. All right, so that's the basic front side stuff. I guess we can add the advanced while we're here. To do that, we had to check to see is game advanced, and we add. Oh, I guess, and it's not. We should have the right trigger type, right? And this should be end of turn trigger. I'm gonna have this all wrong. Trigger type dot destroy card. And this is basically the same but equipment. Equipment. Can I not do check if a card is equipment? I think you have to do like is equipment. Sure. Okay. So we got that. What else does Baron Blade do? He flips and restores HP. So we probably want that to happen. Could have other triggers and stuff. Right, so there's the destroy attempted, we got that. The after flip card immediate response. I guess we want to restore the HP. That's the main thing. Sure. And I think Sure, we can include the premature victory thing. All right, so there's some more reasonable stuff for the baddies. Let's just make sure that this includes the flipped gameplay. We want some sort of effect, I suppose, on this side. Just gonna try to lean back a little bit here. I'm just gonna leave it blank for now, so I'm gonna clear these out. I feel like reaching the end of the day, so cool. So we've got added a new card for the baddies, and mostly he plays fire everything. Let's make this each non-villain target. It seems bad. Is that too much? Two non-villains. Yeah. Or I guess we can say is non-villain. There we go. 5 psychic damage. Yeah. It's bad. We can play more cards on the other side, I guess. That's okay for now. And we have this promo card. It's with 300 hit points. I'm not going 400 hit points. I'm not going to look at that today. I think that's good for now. Let's just see if our tests still work, and they probably don't. Maybe they do. Test mod works. What do we got? Yeah. To non-villain. Cool. All right, that seems fine. Just working on making these more reasonable, so you might actually want to use them for an example. So let's say clean up the villain a bit, add a new card. All right, I'll go ahead and push these up because I think that's like generally an improvement. And yeah, we'll probably take a little time each week and clean this up, so it's going to become more useful example as people will be getting more into modding once we release it to the public. So I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll look to get an update out with those fixes pretty soon, and some more documentation. And yeah, getting closer to a release. So thanks for watching, and have a great weekend. Bye for now.